Hey everybody, it's Debbie Williamson and I have my friend David Nibley here, and we're excited to share some information with you. We both completed our certification in breatheology, so we're both breatheology instructors, and we thought we would just get on and share some cool tips for you to ease some stress in this time. And how are you doing, David?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. I'm good.
Good.
I'm good. It's so fun to see each other in this way on video, and
Yeah,
it's the best way to share now, to stay in touch.
it is. I mean, especially you're in Hawaii, I'm here in the Rocky Mountains. And even during the breatheology course, we didn't get much time to chat. So this is really good to kind of get a little more information and dig a little deeper into what we know.
Right. And exactly, with, the stress that everybody's in, we're all, experiencing something different. But, we have these tools that we can use to really like bring ease and get us back to, a place where we can feel pretty good or calm or normal in the moment anyway, before, something else comes. And what I wanted to talk about and share was more about what we can do and how the body works. And we get nervous sometimes, and feel like things are nerve wracking, and this relates directly to the nervous system. And
Mhm.
I thought we could discuss the two branches, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system, which is really simply, the sympathetic is um, fight or flight or freeze, which is something that I tend to do sometimes. I find that my fighting skills are really good when I get stressed physically, but as far
Right.
as like emotionally, I get paralyzed. I totally
hmm
freeze.
Yeah, I'm similar that way. My biggest thing is the I don't know. So with this situation that we're in now, with all of the unknowns, it's been really impacting me, in my fight or flight, my freeze with all the unknowns.
Yeah, and it's not like, we're being attacked by a tiger or there's something like, deathly, vicious right in front of us. It's just like emotionally we
hmm
get in that same situation. And what helps us is the parasympathetic side. That's that rest, digest, and just being at ease. And that's what we're finding, where we get stuck in this fight or flight with everything. It's just what we're thinking of in the future. Our bills piling up. It might not be a tiger, but it sure as heck feels like it sometimes. And,
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
tap into that other side is really what we want to share today.
Yeah, and it's a fine balance as well. I mean, we want to be on alert when things are, you know, stressful, but we don't want to be stressed out all the time so that when we need to tap into the sympathetic nervous system, it's overly stimulated already, and we don't have the fight or the flight in us anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And when we think about, how we get to the ease side, the parasympathetic, we relate it to like the nervous system. There's 12 cranial nerves, and 8 of them are on the fight or flight, and then 4 are in the parasympathetic. So right away, we're fighting 4 against 8.
Right.
And the 4 really relate to like even facial expression. We're looking at, we have the glossopharyngeal nerve, which is more of like our throat, and we get nervous and we can hear nerve in your, the nervousness in your throat. Or there's the facial nerve, and even what's the other nerve before the vagus nerve? Oh, ocular motor nerve, the
Right.
eyes. So a lot of it is around, let's see, we're bringing it up here. A lot of it is around like our face. So even
hmm
like bringing us into ease, just being on this call with you and smiling, and your
Right.
face relax when you see a friendly person, that brings us to that state of ease. And the vagus nerve is it's the longest nerve. It's the one that goes from the base of our skull down into our gut, and that's the one we really want to tap into, because we have control, not so much over our nervous system, but we have control over our breath and even our heartbeat, and we have these tools every day.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of one of the things that we forget in our high-paced day-to-day lives, with all the technology and everything else that we're using to, help us achieve our goals or do what we want from the day to day. We forget to tap into the resources that we already have, and the vagus nerve is one of those resources that can be really powerful.
Well, and I know things we can do are like laugh and hum or
Mhm.
sing or even a cold shower. And sometimes when we're all alone or isolated, like the laughing, the singing, the humming is something that, maybe it's not readily available. And even cold shower, like I know
Mhm.
that'll help me and it'll calm my nervous system, but then it's like, I don't know if I want to be wet. There's got to be something else. And it's really our breath.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating how science is catching up with the ancient wisdom too. I was just reading about humming. You brought up humming. I just read actually right before this call that humming increases the production of nitric oxide as we breathe, and nitric oxide just increases the oxygen utilization in our body. So, these simple things that we have, like you're mentioning, really do have powerful physiological effects.
We do, and we take it for granted. I mean, even like with
Mhm.
our breath. And that's something that I thought we could share is, how can we just use something that we have, right here in the moment? And I think, isn't it that we like breathe 30,000 times a day or something like that?
Yeah, yeah. On the upper end, it's around 30,000.
Yeah, so 20 to 30,000 times, we have this tool right in front of us.
Like the Deb wanted to go over was just a simple breath practice, and it's breath counting. It's a control thing. It's something so simple, but very effective as well. Inhaling for 4 counts, exhaling for 8 counts, and what that does is it activates the vagus nerve on the exhale specifically. The longer we can do the exhale, the longer we can activate the vagus nerve and get the benefits from that. And the vagus nerve is what really triggers and you, hey,
Hey, I'm back. Sorry, that Hawaii internet,
heard
But
about that.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, so just on the exhale, we were just talking about the exhale, how the exhale is what actually specifically triggers the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is the one of the most powerful aspects of the parasympathetic nervous system, and activating the benefits of the relax and recover system.
Well, and it's so easy. I have like this 4-8 breath count, and it's really simple, just to inhale for 4 and exhale twice as long. So it might be as simple as inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, and then your exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if this is too much for you, you can do 2, 4. You can inhale for 2 or exhale for 4. And it's something that we do. Like if we're in a stressful situation, you'll see a lot of people breathe in and then their exhale is twice as long just from releasing that stress and even exhaling through the mouth. But what I wanted to do is that's something you can practice and something that you probably do instinctively already. But what I want to go through is a breathing practice of 4, 7, 8. And this is where we add a breath. And the 4, 7, 8 breath is really simple to do too.
Mm-hmm.
And that one is simply you're inhaling for 4, you're holding your breath for 4, and then you're exhaling for 8. And it kind of looks like this, where you inhale on the 4 count, you hold for the 7, and then your exhale, kind of a whooshing 8-second exhale. And it's something that you can exhale through the mouth, or as you get better at it, you can exhale through the nose, more like an ujjayi or a yoga breath for some of you that practice yoga. So it's simply inhale. And that long exhale automatically brings your body into relaxation. And this is something that you can do for even like 5 to 8 counts, doing it over and over, or even sometimes I'll do it lying in bed. This is one of those breath practices that they say in 30 seconds of the 4, 7, 8 breath, you'll be ready to hit the pillow and fall to sleep.
That's great. And what I love about simple ratio or breath count practices like this is it gives you something really to focus on. My mind is going 100 miles an hour all the time. And to go from that to a relaxed state, I really have to give it something. It's like a dog. The dogs are running around active. You give it something, you can occupy it. And my mind just needs something to occupy it. So if I can focus on a breath count, it really helps me. And then the relaxation is able to come.
Well, and that, meditation is a great way to stimulate the vagus nerve too. And so many times people will say, I just can't meditate, I just can't sit still. But that focus on the breath brings you right into that meditative state.
Exactly. Exactly. And that was me. I mean, most of my life, I never had a great experience with meditation because I didn't know what to focus on to get to the place where you don't focus on anything. I didn't have that bridge or that transition, which is what breath work can do.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's so amazing. And even the breath holding, I'm really loving, that part of the practice where I've always been a big breather as far as yoga and pranayama. But now this whole other factor where, getting past the fear of even holding my breath for any length of time. So I'd love for you to share something with breath holding.
Yeah. So the breath holding is what drew me to Breatheology. Stig Severinsen, who created the program, is a world record holding freediver. He has the world record for breath holding over 20 minutes. So I just wanted to find out what that was all about. And what had surprised me about it, free divers, swimmers, a lot of people have great lung capacity and can hold their breath a lot. But what surprised me about it is how much it relates to mindfulness and to peak performance. So in my breathwork practice, I have a pretty, it's a conscious connected breathwork technique that is really big for emotional release. And I wanted something more for performance. But it surprised me how it fit well in both areas, mindfulness and performance. It's a simple tool, but it makes you focus on the breath. What I found out is the trick about breath holding isn't about the holding part, it's about the breathing part. So that's where it comes back to mindfulness, is if you're good with your breathing and you can slow yourself down and access that vagus nerve between the breath holding, then the breath holding takes care of itself.
Yeah. And I always love, like, when you hold your breath, all that's left is your heartbeat, so you really connect to self in that moment. But I would love for you to give us an example.
Of the breath holding?
Yeah, of your breath holding practice.
So what I do is the other part of breath holding that I really like is that it forces you to face a struggle in a very safe way. So the desire to breathe is our strongest urge. We need to breathe to live. So holding your breath is fighting against that a little bit. So you're trying to stay as calm as possible while your body is really trying to get you to breathe. So what I like to do, again, like you were saying, first thing in the morning, because your heart rate's the lowest, they're called tables. So you breathe for a specific amount of time and then hold your breath for gradually either increasing amounts of time, or the breathing between gradually decrease. So the breath holds get gradually harder as you increase your tolerance to that struggle. So it just kind of steps up your ability to remain calm and to access the vagus nerve in the struggle.
Yeah, it's one thing that I feel like I'm a really good breath holder. I was a competitive swimmer when I was younger, and I love the pool. And even Kelly, my friend, and I, we go to the pool all the time, and we hold our breath and we time ourselves. And it was more fun, just to see like how long we can get. But then even just putting it into practice where, the breath before it. I like to do
Mhm.
the 2-4 count or the 4-8 count,
Mhm.
like a long double exhale for even like 2 minutes, and then try my breath
Mhm.
hold and see where I'm at. And I always find that I can hold it longer and longer as I practice. Even as I get more tired, I seem to like release the struggle more. I'll start
Right.
underwater counting, thinking I'm going to pass the time by counting. And then when I finally like give up the counting and start like singing songs or just like
Mhm.
be with the water, then I can hold my breath longer.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. The less I focus on the breath holding part of breath holding, the longer I can hold my breath, if that makes sense.
It does completely. And
Yeah.
I really think, the strengthening the immune system, and even with, what we're going through now with the COVID virus and everything else, and lungs are so important. And, we train our biceps, our triceps and everything else, but, how often do we train our lungs? we've got this, organ in our body that takes up a lot of space. And,
Hmm.
it's another thing to start training. We train our heart. We have no
Right.
problem doing that.
Yeah. As far as the organs go, the lung doesn't get enough attention. The heart gets most of the attention. But yeah, the lung is part of that, endurance and physical system that if we train it, will improve the rest along with it.
Right. And it's a tool we have that we can control. Like we can
Hmm.
control our breath. And even like if you get good at it, you can lower your heart rate and control
Hmm.
that. And that just brings us to better health. In yoga, we always say you only have so many breaths in a lifetime, or you only have
Right.
so many heartbeats in a lifetime. And it's so true. We need to really focus on that, especially if we're going to get to some good health and ease and release some of that anxiety.
Right. Yeah, exactly. If we only have so many breaths in a life, let's slow them down and spread it out.
Right, exactly. Well, I think this was a great discussion,
Yeah.
just a little tidbit for everybody. And I hope to bring more. And David, I hope you join me for more in the
Yes.
future.
Thanks for inviting me. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
All right. Well, we'll see everybody later. Thanks for joining us.